in the gift shop. That's funny. Some frogs are maybe smarter than others, and they jump in. I was just hovering this GoPro over them, and some just stayed put.
Not as much national parks, there's been a lot of a lot of them are up north. They're just a bit different, like less visitation. And then a couple of newer.
So I just finished spending some time in the visitor center and had all kinds of questions for Emma, who is working at the desk. She's, I guess, in the resource management area. So anyway, I had all kinds of questions regarding turtles and snakes. Just, wow, this sky is looking pretty mean. I'm glad we're off the water. But anyway, yeah, so she had a lot of great answers for me. So it gave me an idea of what kind of turtle egg management they do here. They do some, but they don't do it for all species. They do it for map turtles, and they do it for Blandings turtles. So anyway, Shannon and I are going to eat in the truck. We were going to take the tram down to the point, but I don't know. Have a look at the sky.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tom Williams Field here in Owen Sound. It is a beautiful Thursday evening, and we are ready for a little bit of history. This is the first playoff game played in Owen Sound in about 20 years. Hardball baseball has returned, and we are just about set to get underway here with the opening pitch. And it's in for a strike to start things off for the Owen Sound Baysox in their playoff run. J.C. Coots alongside Spencer Byers. And Spencer, a lot of fans here tonight to take in this first playoff game as a ball is hit into center field. That'll be Nolan Thompson, the shortstop, leading off second pitch he's faced tonight.
Yeah, normally Kramer's pretty good at locating in the strike zone, as you saw there on the first pitch strike call. Obviously, you don't want to give up a hit on the first batter of the game, but it does give you a chance to get that double play ball. I think that's just what he signaled there, JC, is they want that double play ball as best they can.
It's Steve Barrett, the third baseman, up now for the Barrie Angels. We were quick to the action tonight, so we haven't really officially met the opponent, the Barrie Angels, here, as that play is over to first in time for the first out.
That's what, JC, 3 pitches and 2 balls in play?
That is it. I mean, it's, if you're looking at the pitching line from that angle, it's not the best start maybe for Kramer, for Nate Kramer here in this game.
But in fairness, they're both weak contact. I mean, the first hit's a blooper just over Kirk Gibson's headed shortstop, and the second hit's a wobbler, I believe, to Kirk Gibson at shortstop. So, I mean, you want weak contact if you're going to give up contact.
That one well hit. Good crack off the bat as it'll drop into right field. Very quickly. They're going to have to be quick on it as the runner is coming around. Will they score? Play at the plate is out.
And a great relay there by the North Stars. I can't tell quickly who's in right field there, JC. I might have to take a little gander here, but a great relay throw there from Van Wyck at second to get the out at the plate. Great tag there by Slater. It was close there at the plate, but the umpire had no doubt the moment she made the signal.
2 outs here. Runner at second.
Pardon me, JC, that was actually McNeil in right field that was able to make the rally throw, the relay.
Kramer on the mound, delivers. That one is in high for a ball. At the plate right now, the first baseman, Dom Morea. Kramer has it. And actually, not doesn't have it. He's going to have a quick conference at the mound here with Greg Slater.
Well, JC, he's allowed every hitter to make contact so far. Yes, he has 2 outs, and it hasn't caused him any damage. It was close there on that second out play. But you'd really like to see Kramer settle in on this at-bat, even if it is just slow everything down and try to make pitches and get stuff over the play without allowing guys to barrel it, because everybody's been able to get on top of the ball.
Kramer comes set. Checks over at second. Delivers that one in for a strike.
And that's what you're looking for right there for Nate Kramer. Beautiful pitch. Batter doesn't even take the bat off his shoulder.
Game scheduled for 8 o'clock tonight. Started right on time. A little cloudy. The wind out of the northwest at about 3 kilometers an hour. Might help the ball carry just a bit here tonight as that one's in for a strike. 1-2, the count to Morea.
Morea wasn't exactly impressed with that strike call. He immediately took a little walk out of the batter's box, trying to refocus.
Kramer knows what he wants to do here. Delivers, got him to swing. And they're saying, yeah, he ticked that one back.
But Slater couldn't catch it. He got his glove onto it, but just couldn't close. That's why you saw Slater there, look skyward and kind of look at the glove like there's a hole in it, which you never like to do as a fielder. I know I usually had that problem, look down at the glove like, is there a hole in it? I swear I had that one.
That was also why I didn't last very long as a hockey goaltender. I thought I had it. Oh, there it is. It's in the back of the net.
Oh, hey, there it is, stuck in the webbing.
How weird is that? That went off the mask of Slater, and that one stung him.
And there's a quick look here at the starting lineup for the Angels. You see there Thompson, Barrett, Foote, and Morea. Morea up at bat, but you saw the first 3 guys. They're all made solid contact, and they are luckily out. 2 of them at least. As Slater, again, just getting himself re-put back together as that ball beamed him right in the forehead. I'm not sure if that caught the top of the helmet or if it did catch him right in the wiring, but I think it caught him right in the wiring with him trying to, fix his sunglasses here. I'm not sure if he got cut or not.
That's it. I think Slater's good. It's just the sunglasses, and if it's an expensive pair, we're a little bit worried about that.
Yeah.
They are prescription.
I believe they are prescription there for Slater, which I think is why he had to get them.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think he had to make sure to get them cleaned off as he got, again, beamed right in the head.
Hopefully not an expensive visit needed to the optometrist tomorrow.
There's no such thing as a cheap visit to the optometrist,
That is
JC,
true.
as a guy who wears glasses religiously.
I let's just say I use my contacts probably more than I should. We are ready to go again. Kramer on the mound. Pitch is in. A little contact made right up the middle of the second baseman. Should be an easy throw over to first. Gets him. And that will end the top of the first.
And as much as, JC, you don't like to see all 4 batters make contact and make one hitter get solid contact to right field to McNeil, you like to see the other 3 hitters who all made contact slough blooper over Kirk's head. The other 2 go right to Kirk Gibson, who makes the easy routine play for him, who is a great fielder, might I add. Kirk Gibson, with I'd say Ryan Bartley, who plays center field normally, are the 2 best fielders, period, for this North Star team. Or pardon me, for this Baysox team. Still got lacrosse on the mind.
They wear the orange, and when you do multi-sports, it gets a little confusing sometimes.
I swear, if they wore black too, I think I'd be pooched, because the MSL team also wore black basically every home game. But, for the Baysox, if anyone's going to make contact, and they're going to make soft contact, you want the ball to go towards Kirk Gibson, because he'll range for it either way and make a great throw, which he has so far today. And now you get a chance to look at the starting lineup for the Baysox there. Doyle, McNeil, and Gibson starting us off as Paul Van Cedar hits in the 4-hole, which is a little surprising because Van Cedar's not a power hitter necessarily. Has a great average this season. I believe finished 4th in the league on average. Kirk Gibson started the year rather cold. Was sub-2 with .200 sub, so technically below the Mendoza line, as they say. He has been able to get that back up to over 300. He led the league last year in on-base percentage and in average. So he's kind of been back to his normal ways as of late, which is exactly what you want to see, JC, going into the playoffs.
Well, it was definitely a combination of the good hitting and the good defensive work and pitching that have been the difference for this Owen Sound Baysox team, finishing second this season and making their first appearance in the playoffs since returning in 2022 to the league. It had been a long, long absence without hardball in Owen Sound, but it has come back with a vengeance this last couple of years. Of course, we just saw the junior Baysox involved in the U11 provincials last weekend. Obviously,
semis?
in the semifinals, that right, as the host team, and a number of dads of those kids are on this team, including Van Cedar. So it's interesting to see that whole new generation is coming up.
Not only that, they were coaching. Ryan Bartley was the head coach. Van Cedar was a coach as well, as you mentioned.
First pitch into Doyle is a strike.
Doyle, a late addition to this team, only played 13 games, but finished just under averaging 400.
Leadoff man, a chopper that gets past the fielder and out to the outfield. Doyle will be safely aboard on first. A leadoff hit.
That was almost perfectly placed. It was a little bit shaded to the second baseman, but it was enough up the middle where neither fielder really had a chance at it. You had to really run and go get that. And it just snuck under the second baseman's glove, which means the first hitter of the game, Doyle, sits on first base.
Now the right fielder, Ryan McNeil, at the plate.
He finished second on the team in average.
Swinging strike. 0-1 count for McNeil.
We'll also mention he had 14 walks this season. His on-base percentage was the best on the team at over 600, which is ridiculous.
Aaron Dempsey on the mound, comes set. Little check over the shoulder. Delivers, swinging strike 2.
And Doyle's going to look at the hole in his bat because that's 2 straight breaking balls he feels like he's been on top of and just hasn't been able to make contact. That second one was a lot closer than the first swing. We'll see if he can barrel the next one.
You'll watch as Doyle delivers outside for a ball.
And that was close. That's a great take by Doyle, again, showing off that walk acumen, being able to watch a pitch on a 0-2 count, and it looked close from here.
Dempsey continuing to work, checks the runner. That one ticked it back. That'll be a foul. Doyle will have to trot back down to first. Gibson in the on-deck circle.
Van Cedar in the hole.
Dempsey, big look over to Doyle. Delivers. That one a bit high. Ball 2.
And I think McNeil knew it immediately. He almost did the big Poppy impression when he got intentionally walked. He immediately kind of just stepped back out of the box knowing that pitch was nowhere near the strike zone for him.
McNeil working his way back into it. 2-2 now. Quick step by Doyle there as Dempsey stepped off the mound for a second. Ball is in, and it's a swinging strike 3. Gets him. First strikeout of the game for Aaron Dempsey.
And that's on the better hitters again on this Baysox team. Not just better hitters, but also again great control of the strike zone. And he's able to get him swinging on basically the same pitch every time. All 3 swings were, I believe, on that breaking ball. I'm going to call it a slider.
Now the shortstop, Kirk Gibson, is at the plate. Fine young ball player for the Baysox. That one in for a strike. Quick throw over to second. They won't get the cutoff, though. That is Doyle safely in with the stolen base.
That he is, which now again puts him in scoring position for Kirk Gibson, who plays college ball in the U.S. for Owens Community College. I believe they are technically D3, meeting Division III.
Dempsey checks Doyle, delivers. Well hit by Gibson. Is this going to drop? Yes, it does. Right in front of the right fielder. Ball in quickly. Doyle will head to third. Gibson now going to take second.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem there, JC, with letting that ball roll to the catcher and not trying to hit the cutoff, is because Kirk Gibson is such a menace on the base pass. He's easily going to cruise into second base. That's heads-up base running by Kirk Gibson. Around first base, see that ball rolling to the catcher and saying, hey, that's a free bag, I'll take that.
Yeah, I don't know if Preston Brubaker knew that he was doing it because Brubaker juggled the ball for a split second there, but it was just enough time for Gibson's speed to safely get to second.
I don't think anyone knew that Kirk was just cruising to second base until he was basically there.
Van Cedar at the plate now, the second baseman. Believe he led the league. Was it in hits as well this year?
He was definitely up there again, JC. Was fourth in the league in average when the season concluded.
Check swing at that, but still a strike for Van Cedar, 0-1. Dempsey on the mound, got lots of runners to keep an eye on now, 2 in scoring position. Van Cedar can find grass with this. Missed that one, strike 2.
And not only that, JC, there's only one force, which is at first base. Neither Gibson nor Doyle have to move.
Only one out, a strikeout, Ryan McNeil.
And I would be right, JC, that Van Cedar was tied for the most hits in the league with Brett Shatter of Bolton, 34.
That one, contact made by Van Cedar, dead ball.
Lucky him, because that ball wasn't caught by the catcher, so if he technically didn't touch it or the umpire didn't think he touched it, he'd have to run to first base.
Big breath from Van Cedar as he awaits the next pitch from Dempsey. Doyle at third, Gibson at second. 1 out. Pitch is in, it's outside. That'll run the count to 1-2.
That's what happens, JC, when you can foul off some pitches. The pitcher's got to be able to find different spots to try to get you either to swing or get the umpire to make a call, which then will lead to, hopefully, some more balls.
Baysox looking to take the first lead in a playoff game in 20 years. That one fouled back by Van Cedar.
Doing a good job of keeping it in the battle. Not only keeping in the battle, but also, forcing the pitcher to throw more pitches. 'Cause obviously, fatigue will be a factor as this series goes on. There's a doubleheader for Game 3, and if there is a Game 4 needed on Saturday, or is it Sunday, I believe, back here in Owen Sound. And I believe it is Sunday.
It will be Sunday. First game, I believe, is scheduled for 1 o'clock. And then, if necessary, we will have Game 4 of the series following it.
At 3:30, scheduled start. As that ball got bounced right off home plate, and the catcher did a great job of blocking it, just using the chest protector like you're supposed to.
Dempsey ready. Pitch to Van Cedar. Hits that one. Well, fell.
Killed it into the trees, but he pulled it a little too far past the foul line. But again, that short porch in left field, 270 to the foul pole, even with the up fence. He just needed to put that ball maybe, 10 feet farther to the right, and that ball's gone. And well gone, might I add.
Van Cedar still alive after a quick 0-2 start in this at-bat. That one outside, runs the count full.
And if he gets walked, that juices the bases for their, I believe, starting third baseman tonight, Jesse Biddle. St. Mary's graduate. Got to make sure I get that in there.
Biddle watching, loving all these pitches, getting all kinds of information from the on-deck circle. Pitches in, it's foul, or hit well up, popped, and it looks like the infielder is going to have it here. Easy catch for the shortstop.
And I do think I have to correct myself, 'cause I know I did this the first time, and I made sure I asked Jesse after the game. I believe it is Battelle before I mess it up anymore, so I do apologize, Jesse, because I spoke to you specifically about it because I thought I was saying it wrong. But Jesse Battelle, St. Mary's graduate, also playing college ball in the U.S. for Spring Arbor out of Michigan.
2 down now for Dempsey, who still has a bit of a jam going with runners at third and second. Dempsey checks. Pitch in, strike 1 to Battelle.
See, and that's where I wonder if that was a strike call or if the umpire believed that he swung. 'Cause I think he checked up, but it also could have just been a flat-out strike regardless, so this check swing wouldn't have mattered.
Dempsey ready on the mound. Quick check over to third. That one in for a strike. Looked like it maybe was a little off the plate, but
I think Jesse knew, though, the moment he stepped out of that box. I think he looked skyward knowing I should have swung at that.
Battelle in a quick 0-2 hole here. And the Baysox bring one in. Patel goes after that one. Dropping into right field. It's good. 1 run will score. Gibson's going to come around as Patel heads to second. Jets are on. He's going for a third. The throw comes in. They got him.
He was kind of slow rounding second, and I think he knows it because he looked like he was going to stop, and I think Coach Bartley put the green light on. And Jesse did go, and they were able to get him. But even with that said, JC, that's technically on the score sheet a 2 RBI double, and it gives Owen Sound the lead 2-0 here going into the top of the second.
It looked like they were in a jam at times, but the Owen Sound Baysox in their first home playoff game in 20 years are leading after 1. 3 hits that inning, no errors, and only 1 left on if you count Patel at the end.
I will also mention, JC, in the other series going on right now that have had a game already played, Bolton the Brewers, who finished first in the NDBL, they're up 1-0 on Aurelia. They have another game. They have game 2 also tonight. I believe it is a 8:45 start in Bolton. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get live scoring for any of these games because I don't think there is a way to get live scoring. But also to mention, the other game that's been already played, Creemore and the Ivy Rangers have already played a game. Ivy are up 1-0 in that series. Their second game started at about 6 o'clock tonight, so that game may even be over by now. As the other series we haven't mentioned yet in the new Lowell Knights, who play the Astros, they have not played a game yet. I believe game 1 will be tomorrow from what the schedule said. And that's 1 playing 8, 2 obviously with the Baysox playing the Angels at 7, and so on and so forth. And if I'm not mistaken, because I have to ask because it always depends on what league you talk to, I believe there will not be reseeding, just like the NBA. The NHL, they reseed every round. So the lowest seed will play the top seed to try to give the top seeds the better advantage. Unlike the NBA where it's flat out, it's 1-8, and that's who you play in your bracket. So Owen Sound in this bracket would either play the Astros or New Lowell if they're able to beat the Barrie Angels here in the first round, in round number 2.
Expectations is Owen Sound will move on as that first pitch is in for a strike.
I mean, when you're the second best team in the standing, I mean, you kind of expect to be, if not in the championship game, close.
Should say that Barrie, that pitch in for a ball to Jeff Bond, the DH. Barrie won 3 of their last 4 games coming into this series, so they are no pushover. The Baysox well aware of the competition they face. That's strike 2 to Bond.
And, getting hot at the right time, JC's, I'll almost say half the battle.
Another pitch in for Bond. That is a ball, 2-2, the count. Nate Kramer working quickly to start the top of the second. Kramer in, that one popped up. That's going to be well foul on the right side of the field.
We'll mention, JC, as you kind of alluded to there, Kramer is very much like Mark Burley. Never leaves the rubber, is very, automatic. He's like a machine gun, and I love it.
The foul ball there off the bus stop as that one is hit well into center field. Right center, they're on the move. It's going to come off the fence. Quick throw in, and stopping up at second is Jeff Bond. A double to lead off the inning.
And Kramer was almost, you felt like dealing before that pitch. But again, more contact allowed by Nate Kramer. And you'd almost feel like, JC, he needs a strikeout or he needs a batter that doesn't make solid contact. Even if they foul off 5 or 6 pitches. He just needs an out where it feels like it's routine and that second guy on second base doesn't advance. Because once they get to third, you almost feel like they're destined to score with no outs.
Center fielder Chris Mokry up now and showing bunt. He lays down a bunt right up the first base line. Kramer was out of his reach and then overthrow at first base. That's going to bring in the run. Jeff Bond crosses the plate and cuts the Baysox lead down to 1.
That was an almost great bunt. I guess almost great bunt. It was a great bunt, JC, because it beat Kramer. It came hot off the barrel. Kramer couldn't make a play on it. So it forced Van Suter to make the long run from second base to that ball, basically right beside Brian Post, and then the throw to Post was over, and that was what ends up scoring the run. So I think that's technically going to be an E4. But as you have the stat sheet and I don't, whatever you say goes.
Let's call it that. First pitch in for a strike to Preston Brubaker, the catcher. Angels doing a great job at manufacturing that initial run. That ball on the outside. A little bit of a jump over at first base by Mokri. Quick check over the shoulder of Kramer. Comes set, delivers. That one outside, ball 2.
And both Kramer and Slater wanted it. Slater held it, and that's almost the telltale sign of a catcher saying, I disagree with you, Blue, is when they hold the pitch there for a second. Just to, I guess, show you where it landed.
Kramer in, that one a hopper, right to the shortstop. Gibson with it. Throw over to first is in time. They got one. Mokri advances to second.
You know, this is my, including last year, probably 6th or 7th game doing Baysox baseball. And every single time I see Kirk Gibson make a throw from deep short, almost at the grass, and he makes it look easy.
Second baseman Brandon Tippin goes after the first pitch. That one into shallow right, and had a group coming together to catch it. It's still foul, though.
And it's just foul. Post almost got there, too. He just couldn't make the basket catch, what I'm going to call it, because it was just over his shoulder. He looked like Calvin Johnson trying to jump up and catch that football, like Randy Moss trying to catch over a corner. Like, that's a tough play to make, especially when you can't even look at the ball. You're waiting for it to come over your shoulder.
Tippin returns to the batter's box. Kramer on the mound. Chris Mokri over at second. That one swung and missed. That's a strike. Might have got a tick back right into the glove, though. Kramer looking for a second out of the game. That one is low. Ball 1.
We'll mention that the two guys hitting in the bottom of the order for the Angels have a collective 11 hits.
Not awesome.
Ooh.
Oh.
And so no call there from Blue. Every guy wearing orange thought it was a strike, and I could argue I think Tippin thought it was also, but he did kind of check up on it. The bat came off the shoulder, but not much farther than that.
Everybody froze on that one.
That's the reason why I oohed at it, because, you know, I usually go with whatever what the umpire calls, but even Tippin kind of reacted to that one when it went by him.
Kramer checks at second, delivers 2-2 pitch. High, ball 3, full count for Tippin. Full count pitch. Kramer looks back at second. Well hit. It's going to drop into center field. Bartley in on it. Oh, went behind him. They hold up at third. That ends up.
And that, honestly, JC, could be costly for the Angels. That could have been easily their second run to tie up the ball game. But I think everybody, including, well, I'll say for me, for sure, I think everybody thought Ryan Bartley nabbed that one. I was about to gun it to Slater. That's why they held him up at third base. And then everyone realized, oh, he missed it, and the ball died about 2 feet behind him.
He looked like, if I'm reading the body language right, the third base coach might have given a little my bad on that one. Maybe should have put the green light on, but nonetheless, they still do have the tying run 90 feet from the plate here.
Well, and also, JC, only one out.
That's right, as Fitzpatrick goes after that one. Right up to the second baseman. Quick play at second, back to first, and they get him. They did! Double play!
So the run won't count. So again, that's costly, you'd say, for Barrie, because this game should be tied. If they see Bartley miss that ball, they don't. And because of that, it's now a double play. And that play was very close at first base. But again, I will never go against the absolute cannon, howitzer, rocket, hose that Kirk Gibson's got.
It's a good one. It helps make that double play. And that is the difference, as the Baysox will head to the home half of the second with a 2-1 lead here in Game 1 of this first-round playoff series.
You know, JC, today I got some stuff done around the house. Today was my day off where I actually had nothing to do, so I got some stuff done. I felt really productive today before I came here, got the hair done, and got to the baseball diamond. And just out front, while I was doing something, I saw the water guys doing the fire hose, or the
Well, they were doing the empty the hydrant thing?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes, they were emptying the hydrant where they were testing to make sure it works. I saw them out front. That's what I just saw Kirk Gibson do. That water pressure, second base to first base.
I was going to say, are you about to tell me you went and ran through the hydrant like it was a sprinkler?
I know. I saw them making my street turn into a slip and slide, and I was like, if I had a saucer, JC, I might go down the street. But I was like, that might be some road rash that I'm not sure I can fix before I get on air. This suit may not be expensive, JC, but I still don't want to ruin it.
And then the ice cream man went by, and it was just the best day ever. Dempsey warming up on the mound here as we get set for the bottom half of the second. It'll be the first baseman, Brian Post, due up first for the Baysox.
And, again, interestingly, as I kind of mentioned off the top, Paul Van Suter's hitting in the 4th spot, which is normally known as cleanup. He has 1 home run this year. He is the best average, but he only has 1 home run. Brian Post, on the other hand, has a 5th best average, but 7 home runs.
Led the league.
Normally is the cleanup spot. So interesting they're playing him here at 6, and we'll see what Post can do here to lead off this inning.
Dempsey delivers. First pitch is fouled back by Post to the backstop.
And you will also mention, as a righty hitting to that short porch in left field, it is, I'll say, somewhat of an advantage because he can just pull it and get that ball over that short porch.
Pitch is outside low, ball 1 to Post.
And Post is one of the more exaggerated open stances, too. That front foot is well outside of his back foot.
1-1 pitch outside, ball 2.
We'll also mention, JC, for the first playoff game in Owen Sound in some 20-some-odd years, there's a lot of people here.
There is. Estimated their final regular season game brought in over 150. Quick throw over to first will get Post first out of the inning.
As now the guy who had led the team for a while in average and has come down significantly, you'd say, in Ryan Bartley hitting in the 6 hole. I say this as I know his average was above 400 for most of the year. It's now down to 323. But Ryan Bartley has a great bat. You just got to be able to find it here tonight. And again, to start the playoffs, there's no better time to find it.
First pitch into Bartley, fouled straight up. Brubaker got it. And it will be a quick at-bat for Ryan Bartley.
And maybe that's exactly what you don't want to see. Maybe the exact opposite of what I just said about trying to find your hitting again in the first playoff game. First pitch you see comes right off the inside of the bat, and it's sky high, and the catcher is able to settle under it and get a hold of it.
Greg Slater, the catcher, up now. 2 outs already as Dempsey working quickly. That one a ball, though, 1-0. One-0 pitch. Got the corner of the zone there. Faded at the end, at the back of the plate, but it was good at the front.
And Slater swung right at it, so he agreed with you.
That one hit well into center field. Fielder's on the move. Slater going around first, heading into second. Should have lots of space here. No slide required, as it's a double for Greg Slater.
And they're going to ask the 2-out catcher for Slater, so Slater will cruise into the dugout. And guess what that means? That means Ryan Bartley, who showed off his speed in center during that the first hit of the game, or the first hit of the last, or I guess the bottom of the, or top of the inning, pardon me, before I get completely tongue-tied. You saw the speed of him in center field, so Bartley on second base is dangerous because a bloop single could score him. Unlike, no offense to Greg Slater, who's not, I'd say, known for his speed on the base paths.
Kevin Zettler in the 9 spot tonight. Bottom of the order, the DH for the Baysox. goes after the first pitch, but that is fouled well down the first base line.
Yeah, Zettler finished on the team in 4th in average, just a couple points under 400. And has played left field, has played right field. I think he even played second base this year. Obviously, he's DH, and tonight he's pitched as well. Zettler's kind of a jack of all trades for this club.
Aaron Dempsey on the mound for the Angels. 0-1 pitch. Fouled back. That'll be 0-2 now for Zettler. Fresh ball comes in. They've got the stadium lights on now in Owen Sound. It's starting to get darker. We're getting to that time of year where the sun starts to set a little bit earlier and the days get a little shorter. That one well high for a ball. First ball to Zettler.
You almost wonder if that's a eye reset on Zettler or even a half pitch out, because Bartley, again, does have speed to burn.
And a big lead over at second for Bartley. Zettler goes after that one. Shortstop gets it over to first, not in time. And Bartley takes advantage. He's going to come home and restore the 2-run lead.
And he got to home, JC, and I don't think he ever got out of first gear. That was a Ferrari just cruising down the 50, and he walked to walked to home plate. Is now back up to the top of the order here for the Baysox.
A little bit of a throwing error there on the shortstop.
And you know why that happened, JC? Is because how quick Kevin Zettler was out of the box. Zettler was almost at first base when that throw came, so he had to rush it. And when you rush the throw, you're almost guaranteed to go low, and that ball just couldn't be scooped up there by the first baseman.
Back to the top of the order for Robert Doyle. Bunts that one down. Zettler, look at that speed. He's already at second. But it won't matter, though, as the ball quickly thrown over to first to get Doyle. That will end the inning, but a run scored, 2 hits, 1 error, and 2 left on, as the Baysox restore the 2-run lead here heading into the top of the 3rd.
I mean, with all the balls in play we've seen so far, JC, that normally means we're going through some pretty quick innings. Because you're allowing fielders, and I guess usually when you have a lot of balls in play, the games take longer. Obviously because it causes more errors, which cause more. Oh, and there is the leading hitters here in the NDBL. You see Van Cedar in 4th. You also see Ryan McNeil 7th on the list. You also see lots of other teams here that are right now in the playoffs. The IVU up 1-0, Bolton up 1-0. New Lowell, who's just trying to get their first win of the playoff. I think they take on the Astros. We've got a couple of players in there. And again, this Owen Sound team, though, as you see there, 2 hitters in the top 10 on average, JC. They were the 2nd best team defensively. They allowed the 2nd least amount of runs, 99 to be exact. So only 2 teams had under 100. They're one of them. So as much as they've got some juice in the order, that's not their bread and butter. Their bread and butter is playing low games with Trevor Smith and Nate Kramer being their 2 main starters, and Ryan Bartley, I'd say, be the 3rd guy in that. And even with Kramer not looking great tonight so far, he's only allowed 1 run. He's looked good at times tonight, and if he can find, that next gear, Owen Sound can kind of cruise the rest of this game if Kramer can find it, because the bats look really good so far.
Back up to the top of the order, the shortstop, Nolan Thompson at the plate. Pitch 1 is in for a strike. Nate Kramer on the mound. Delivers in the dirt. Ball 1.
Okay, let's go.
Thompson at the plate. That one hit into left center. Fielder is there and makes the play.
Easy play for Doyle in the end. And again, that's kind of what you want for Kramer, just to get finally, I'll say, settled into this game, because I still don't feel like Nate Kramer's at his best yet. But a fly ball hit I'll say directly at, but in the vicinity of Doyle, who makes the routine play to get the first out.
Trevor Smith, the other pitcher here for the Owen Sound Baysox. That one well hit and caught. The second baseman gets under it.
Van Cedar got up there for it. He kind of saw it going up, and I think he knew that if he doesn't make that play, it's going to be a hit. So he kept trailing back, took a couple more steps back, and was able to make the nab.
2 out quickly here as the right fielder, Adam Foote, comes to the plate. Reached second in his first at-bat. That one at the knees is good for a strike. Kramer, 0-1 pitch, fouled up the third baseline. 0-2 now to Foote. As mentioned, the other pitcher, Trevor Smith, it was either going to be Smith or Kramer that started this game. Smith, I believe, led the league in strikeouts. We called a game earlier this year where, did he have 13 in that game?
It was in the double digits for sure. And that was against, I believe, Mansfield, the Cubs.
That is correct. That one a ball, 1-2 count to Foote. That was a game that was delayed by rain, and then we had the stadium lights go out on us. And at the end of the day, the Baysox got the win. They get the strikeout there, and they end the inning. 3 up, 3 down. First strikeout of the game for Nate Kramer.
And that's kind of what you want to see from Kramer, to finally get that first strikeout and to get a guy swinging and not making contact when he swings. And that was a great last pitch there to get that K to finally, or I guess to get another scoreless inning, the second of the game for the Baysox. And again, they've looked really good so far with the sticks, and we'll see if they can continue that, as I believe it is McNeil to start us off here in the top of the third, or bottom of the third, pardon me.
Zeros across the board for the Angels. No runs, no hits, no errors, and none left on in that top of the third.
And then there are the series, or that's the, oh, those are the series, might I add, as you see there. Bolton versus Aurelia, Owen Sound versus Barrie, the Astros against New Lowell, and then Creemore versus Ivy, the Rangers.
Due up in the home half of the third inning. Back to the top of the order for the Baysox. It'll be Robert Doyle up first, followed by the right fielder Ryan McNeil and the shortstop Kirk Gibson.
I will say J.C. Doyle was the one who bunted.
Sorry, Doyle bunted.
He was the last out of the last
That's
inning.
right. I have that in the wrong column.
That is the only problem, J.C., with your scorer's box. Sometimes if you just skip one guy all of a sudden. But again, better you than me, because again, you have the score sheet. So everything you say goes, man. Like, you're going to get the call from the NDBL about what the official stats are tonight, because you got the official sheet.
Well, if the NDBL is watching, I will I'll pull the curtain back a little bit and let you know I haven't hit double-digit games as a baseball broadcaster yet. So we're getting there, though.
That does it.
I'm thinking of about 8 now. Games called Lifetime. So we're getting there, baby steps.
Well, I mean, in Owen Sound, I know you're, I'll say, kind of new to the Grey Bruce area. I mean, as you mentioned it, hardball's kind of come back over the resurgence, so I assume with that, you and I will be here a lot more often.
Well, based on the fan support tonight, I would not be surprised as it continues to become popular in Owen Sound. Lots of sports taking off in recent years as first pitch is into a ball in for a ball for McNeil. Of course, lacrosse has really exploded these last few years. It's been a hockey town otherwise for so long, but now it's nice to see other sports, including a very vibrant soccer community. Mark Perry would know a thing or two about the local soccer community here.
And man, I wish we could go to Kiwanis to do a couple of United games. I just know it hasn't been in the cards for the Rogers team. Because I've told Mark that I'd love to go to the Kiwanis soccer complex and get a chance to do some Owen Sound United games. It just happens that their days that they do games is just not sufficient with us.
Pitch there, fouled back.
I don't know where you're parked, JC, but I'm not parking this side of the diamond, so we're good. Keep putting the balls this way.
I think I'm okay on this side.
Not sure I can afford a new windshield, guys. Let's keep her away.
McNeil at the plate. Pitch is in for a strike. Got him looking.
And McNeil is not impressed about that one. I think it caught just the bottom inside corner, and McNeil said, I think, one thing to the umpire. I'm not exactly sure what he would have said. Maybe just no way or not close as Kirk Gibson will now step in.
Only 2 strikeouts thrown by Dempsey, and both have been thrown to McNeil.
Who again is not exactly known for his strikeouts.
First pitch, Gibson goes after it. Well hit, and she gone. A home run for Kirk Gibson. Makes it a 3-run lead.
And he absolutely killed it.
I think it's on the way to Wyerton right now.
4th home run of the year for Kirk Gibson. And that ball got crushed. And I might see that one somewhere on Highway 6 as I make my way home tonight.
So the trivia question, the first Owen Sound Baysox playoff home run in 20 years was hit by Kirk Gibson.
One of the younger guys on the team.
Van Cedar, the second baseman, up, sees that one go into the dirt for ball 1.
Covers the extra mileage.
Dempsey delivers outside, ball 2. Van Cedar liking the start to this at-bat.
The last one he got down 0-2 and then had to fight his way back into the count to be able to get his hit. Now it's the opposite side of the spectrum.
That one chopped up the third base line over the third baseman. It is a fair ball as Van Cedar thinking about 2. He's going for it, and he put on the brakes as the left fielder was able to recover quickly and get that ball back in.
I think they were going to set him in a second, too. I think that's what the base coach was telling him to do, and then I think Van Cedar said, yeah, no, thanks, I'm good, and stopped about a quarter of the way there.
Van Cedar at first. 1 down as Jesse Battelle comes to the plate, the third baseman for the Baysox. Reached the third previously. That one past the second baseman. Van Cedar safely into second. Battelle at first. And suddenly 2 are on.
Now, I mentioned a great hit that made the second baseman have to really run after it, just couldn't get there to make the play. That's the perfect hit up the middle. That went right over second base. There's really no chance for either the shortstop or second baseman in their natural positioning to get to that ball. You have to be shaded one way or the other to even have a chance at a hit like that, and Battelle cruises to first base.
Bat's starting to come alive, and here's a guy that loves to hit home runs, the first baseman, Brian Post, now at the plate. 2 on for him. Dempsey got him for a strike 1. Got the corner. Dempsey looking back at second, keeping an eye on Van Cedar. Dempsey delivers. That one, he basically turned his head and threw the ball at the same time, which might explain why it's slightly off the mark. Ball 1 to Post.
First thing you're taught when you play youth baseball, softball, if you're looking at your target, you have a chance to hit it. You have a chance of throwing it to your target.
Still watching Van Cedar. The 1-1 pitch hit by Post. Out to left center. Center fielder right under it. Makes the catch. Runners tag. And, Van Cedar just about got caught out of position there. He had to be very careful.
Well, he did tag in fairness, so that wasn't going to be a play at the bag. It's just Van Cedar kind of got caught far enough off the bag where the center fielder thought, I think I can get him. And Van Cedar was able to stretch out the foot and get there. As now Bartley will step back into the dish, who had a 1-pitch at bat in his first one. We'll see if he can see a couple more this time.
Dempsey checking Van Cedar at second. Big lead there for Van Cedar as that one is high for a ball.
That one right by the eyes of Ryan Bartley, who checked the glasses to make sure they didn't get in trouble there, as we mentioned the optometrist one more time.
Lead off by Van Cedar. That one just got the corner of the plate for a strike.
And Bartley almost leaned after it. He kind of kept his head down, waited for the call, and nodded to it. So obviously he kind of thought the same thing.
1-1 pitch coming. Dempsey got his sign. Looks back. Look at Van Cedar and look at that little match between Van Cedar and Dempsey now.
Well, there's also really no play at the second base. Like, the second baseman and shortstops are nowhere near the bag. So, like, he can take as much lead off as he wants.
There's a chopper by Bartley past the shortstop, and no play to be had there. All are safe.
And that loads the bag for the catcher in Slater, who hit a double in his last at-bat. Or I guess in his only at-bat so far today. So if Slater can do that again, he may score all three. With the speed he's got at second and first, and Bartley and Battelle.
What would it be called if you got a home run?
2 down. Greg Slater. Chance to really open things up for the Baysox. Dempsey delivers low and outside. Ball 1 to Slater.
I'm surprised Slater even leaned after that one. Obviously, it started up a lot higher as he kind of leaned towards it, so the momentum was pushing him towards the plate.
No, pay attention to what I'm saying. Good.
Ball 2. 2-0 now for Slater, who is getting into a nice hitter's count. Nothing but orange sweaters around the mound right now.
Well, mention, look at the leadoff Battelle's taking at second base.
That one hit, popped up center field. They're calling for it, and that will be it. A fly ball easily caught, and that will prevent any more damage from being done. The home run, the difference this inning by Kirk Gibson. A 3-run advantage for the Owen Sound Baysox as we head to the top of the 4th.
4-1, as you mentioned, top of the 4th now. The Angels got to find a way to get back at Kramer like they did in the first and a little bit in the second. Kramer had a great third inning. We'll see if he can replicate that here in the 4th. Owen Sound's kind of banking on that he does. As again, these are 7-inning games, and Owen Sound, I would say, doesn't have a lot of arms. They've got good arms, but not a lot of them. So the longer your starter can go in Kramer and Smith and Bartley, then you can kind of get away with only having, you know, you'd say, what, 2 or 3, maybe 4 if you include Blackwell, their closer, who plays a quasi-closer role.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a chance to take a look at the series. Again, game 1 tonight here in Owen Sound. Then it is tomorrow, Friday the 9th, down in Barrie. And then you see the doubleheader I mentioned, because I keep forgetting the days if it's Saturday or Sunday. It is Sunday the 11th at 1 and 3:30 if Game 4 is needed. And you're going to ask, why is there a 6th game? I asked the same question. Now, here's the interesting fact about the NDBL playoff. So it is the best of 5 or 6 points, because there's still ties, JC. So this game technically still could tie. So you could win 2 games, tie the other game, lose 3, and lose the series because you didn't accumulate the 6 points. Because a tie's worth 1, a win's worth 2. So you end on 5 points. So it is, technically speaking, and I wonder, this is where I'd have to ask the question to the commissioner, if there's 6 straight ties, who goes through? Is it, because it can't be run differential, because you tied every game. So what is the tiebreaker at that point?
I think they just declare both teams awful and say you're both out.
You're both out?
You're both out. That's not how it works, obviously, but if you did see the schedule there and you would like to come by on Sunday and see these games, BYOC, bring your own chair. Obviously,
there is a little stand over there.
There is a little stand, but it does fill up fast. And no tickets, no money required. Just come and enjoy some baseball with the Baysox. They would love to have you here.
And it's Sunday afternoon, so it's not easy. You know, you can come right after church, or you can, you know, do some spring cleaning, or I guess almost fall cleaning. You know, and then come right down to the ballpark and watch 1, if not 2 games on Sunday.
And you might get to see the series decided that day, hopefully in favor of the home team. And I believe weather should be okay. I think we were looking at sunny in 22 for Sunday. Well, possible rain in 22, but should be sunny by then. The forecast always gets better.
I mean, I feel like it was supposed to rain for like a week. We didn't get rain for literally a week, so... I mean, I kind of look at weather reports and just go, I hope it's kind of that, but we'll find out, I guess, on the day. Same thing with the winter. We're supposed to get a massive snowfall, and we get maybe 3 centimeters, and it's like, well, that was massive, wasn't it?
Top of the 4th, ready to go. First pitch to Morea, swinging strike, 0-1.
And again, Kramer is staying on that rubber, which forces the batter to speed up because the pitcher can go once he gets in the batter's box.
A 1 pitch, that one in the dirt, 1-1 to Morea. Jeff Bond, DH on deck. That pitch hit back. It'll get past everybody out to shallow right center. Ball back in quickly. Will keep Maria at first. Jeff Bond, the DH, hit a double in his only appearance back in the second inning. That one, first pitch, goes to the shortstop, and uncharacteristic drop by Gibson. Does he make it? No. Even with the mistake, he was close, but still couldn't get the runner at first.
You got to wonder there if Kirk's got to either swallow it or throw it to Van Cedar, who was at second base, and I think they could have got the lead runner. I just think once Kirk fumbled the ball, Kirk had no doubt going to first base, which honestly is what you think. The moment you fumble that ball, you're not even thinking about anything else other than I'm getting this to first base and we're trying to get that out. But he might have been a little bit more fruitful if he flipped it to Van Cedar there just beside him.
First two up are on board. No outs with Chris Mokry at the plate. He shows bunt, missed that one.
I think he
might have ticked it. Yeah, I think he fouled that one back.
Well, I mean, I think that's a great pitch by Kramer to maybe see bunt just before he released it and release it low. So even if he does get a bunt away, it's going to foul off and go towards us, which there's a little fence in front of me. So I think I'm safe for the night. The hair might not be, but, you know, I think I'll be fine if it just nicks me.
Again, showing bunt. That one's successful, stays fair. They get the runner on the tag, but both other runners will advance.
That's only the first out of the inning, JC. So nobody has to force except for at first base, which again, if it's a deep fly ball, there could or should be a tag up. So again, the Angels are thinking at least one, if not two runs in this inning.
We've already seen some examples where the Angels have been able to manufacture runs coming in the first inning.
With their only run.
Preston Brubaker, the catcher at the plate. Kramer checks around the bases. Kramer swung on. That one's going to result in one run coming in, just one. Morea crosses the plate and cuts the lead back down to 2.
But with that single, that now leaves a double play ball in effect. So this, as much as you don't like giving up runs, JC, this could be a chance for Owen Sound to get out of the inning without any more damage being done.
They would like to keep that 2-run lead here with runners at the corners. Tippin got aboard his last time, and now a stolen base happening, and that will eliminate the possibility of a double play.
And that's, again, where you think maybe a little bit sluggish by Owen Sound between Slater and Kramer. Both of them kind of lackadaisical there with that drop ball by Slater, and that gives the Angels a free bag.
Pitch fouled back, well outside here.
And I believe that one went into the Keppel-Sarawak playground. As all the kids go running after it there, JC.
There are no shortage of ball retrievers here tonight.
And that including in center field. I see about at least 5 or 6 vehicles in center field.
Got the camping chairs in the bed of the pickup truck out there. Gibson has it, throws to first, got him. One run will come across the plate, though. That'll cut the lead now down to just 1.
And they're going to do the catcher 2-out rule, so now Tippin will run quickly to third base. But a great play there by Gibson to get the out, which now gives them a chance to get out of his inning without any more damage being done and keeping that 1-run lead and keeping a lead, which they've held for the entire, well, except for before they had a chance to bat, they've held the entire game.
Fitzpatrick at the plate. First pitch by Kramer, good for a strike.
That's a great pitch. Started high, looked like it caught the top of the zone as it came down.
A 1 pitch, good for a strike, too.
And then the hitter's not exactly impressed with that one. He gave a little look back there to the home plate umpire.
Fitzpatrick, the bottom of the order. Kramer in. Oh, thought he had him at the letters, but no. And now trying to steal home. Looks like it was a bad decision as they will make the play at home. I mean, you don't often see that play happen.
Well, in fairness, JC, they nabbed a free bag at second when Slater and Kramer were a little bit lackadaisical. The Angels thought they could do it again and tie the ball game up without needing a hit. And lucky for Owen Sound, Slater and Kramer were able to react quickly on that one. Tippin maybe got kind of stuck there 3/4 of the way to the home plate, and they're able to make the play in the end.
So to the home half of the 4th inning we will go. The damage done, though. 2 runs for the Angels. Cuts the lead down to 1.
But again, the Baysox, I believe, have scored in every single inning, and they've looked really good with the bat so far. So they can't think about going into this bottom of 4 thinking that they can't continue that in this bottom, because, again, they've had a lot of success. Maybe not as much on the scoreboard as they would like, but they've been able to hit around at least once. They're almost at hitting around the second time, as Zettler will lead off, so they will be going to the top of the order right after this at bat. So they will have gone through the order now 2 full times in 3 innings, basically. So, I mean, that shows you that you're getting on base and you're hitting a lot. It just means you haven't been able to, sequence those hits effectively to accumulate runs, which, you could argue is almost as important as getting the hits is where you do them. If Kirk Gibson hits that home run when there's bases juiced, that's an extra 3 runs compared to his solo shot. So, Owen Sound's just looking to, get the ducks in the pond and then be able to actually get them home, then hit a couple of home runs, and then have those guys on bag and leave them stranded.
It'll be the DH, Kevin Zettler, due up first. We are about exactly 1 hour since the beginning of this game.
I mean, that's again why I love the NDBL and Nate Kramer specifically, is they are rapid. There is not a lot of walking around the mound, checking how tall the grass is. It's very much stay on the rubber and make my pitches.
First pitch by Dempsey. Bunt shown there by Zettler, but he pulled it back in.
We'll mention also, Zettler, you said hitting DH, hitting at the back of the order. He is still the 4th best hitter average-wise on this team, so it's not like it's a lack of skill at the back end of this order. So you almost could argue he's another leadoff guy hitting in the 9-hole.
Latest pitch in for a strike, 1-1. Dempsey outside, ball 2.
There was no show of bunt on that one there, JC, so I guess they were going bunt till first strike, and then Zettler can settle in.
Pitch by Dempsey, high, ball 3.
Zettler doesn't have I'll say a great command of the strike zone. Only had 5 walks this year in the 64 plate appearances he had.
3-1 pitch. Got him for a walk.
No, it was a strike
they
call.
called it a strike. Zettler thought it was a walk. He started trotting down to first. But that one was good to make the count full.
And that was right as a car alarm went off. I couldn't tell it was a Barrie fan trying to get in his head if he was honking on the horn, but then I heard it again. Oh, no, it's a car alarm. It's a car alarm. We're safe. There's no gamesmanship going on here.
Full count for Zettler. Dempsey pitches. Hit by Zettler. Scooped up by the second baseman. Thrown on to first, and they get him.
That one right into the chest of the second baseman. They hit him basically right in the numbers, right in the Angel logo. And Zettler's going to feel hard done by because I assume he's thinking he should be on first base right now because of the walk he thought he got as he started making his trot towards first base.
Back to the top of the order. Robert Doyle, the left fielder. Had a stolen base in the first.
And again, this will be their third time through the order. This is the beginning of the third time through the order, which usually is where the most damage is done.
That one, big cut for a strike by Doyle.
Sure, after the game, you can try and get up a little higher.
One down. Dempsey. Hit hard, back to center field. Will it have the distance? It's off the fence. Picked up, thrown in quickly. It's going to be a double for Doyle.
We'll mention two things, JC. One, Doyle hasn't hit a home run yet this year in the 13 games he's played in. And the other thing I'm going to mention is he has batting gloves in his back pocket. And now the reason why I mentioned that, JC, is because he was hitting. And I'm not sure I see very often guys have batting gloves and choose to not wear them. Usually it's one or the other. You have the batting gloves, you wear one, or you wear both, or you don't wear them at all. Like McNeil here's got both of his blacks on.
Not sure if it's a superstition thing or maybe it's a lucky batting glove that he just doesn't wear.
That could be it. But again, that makes me curious because again, I always wore batting gloves just because I have baby hands, as I say. So I like to keep these things nice and soft.
Mm-hmm. I did as well. There are no calluses on these hands. They have not worked a real day.
Exactly.
That one well hit and caught very quickly by the third baseman. Nice snag there to retire McNeil.
It was just over his head, so it was, I'll say, an easy catch, but that was an absolute rocket off McNeil's bat there.
That's just bad luck for McNeil, who's now 0-3 at the plate tonight. 2 strikeouts and that line drive right to third.
And again, he's not a guy that gets out a lot, so this has been an uncharacteristic night for McNeil.
First pitch to Kirk Gibson in for a strike.
Who again has looked good tonight and has been great the last couple of weeks for the Baysox and has looked to continue that tonight, and he has.
Dempsey on the mound takes a look at Doyle at second. Delivers at the knees for a ball.
And again, Kirk knew the moment that went out of his hand, that was not even an attempt at it. He dropped the bat basically to his waist saying, yeah, I'm not even going to try.
Dempsey again, checking Doyle, who's got a decent lead at second. That one hit by Gibson past the shortstop into the outfield. Doyle's going to be able to come around. Will he play at the plate? Not in time. Now Gibson going to second. Do they get him? They got him at second.
And again, so that's the second time Kirk Gibson's got caught trying to steal an extra bag, but that run will count because he was safe at first. As Doyle looks a little worse for wear here at home plate. I'm not sure if he got caught up with the catcher when he slid. But that will be the 5th run of the game, and Owen Sound will restore their 2-run lead. And actually, it's his hamstring he's grabbing at, so that must have been from either one of his last strides or when he landed on the ground.
Well, hopefully Doyle will be able to stay in this game. Obviously, the left fielder, you need them to have some speed out there when they have to move.
Well, if you go by MLB standards, corner, outfield, and first base are the easiest defensive positions by the defensive position tracker. And I believe they're technically speaking in the mathematical equation -7.5, and then first base is like -11 or something, or maybe 10.5, while DH is like -15 on the defensive scoreboard. Comparatively speaking to the more important defensive positions, Kirk Gibson at shortstop, Ryan Bartley in center field, which are plus, I think, 10 or 12.5 for both. And that's, again, where you mentioned where Kirk Gibson made the one error where he just couldn't get the ball out of his glove and couldn't make the throw at first. Not only is that uncharacteristic for Kirk Gibson, but, JC, when you make, so far in this, now going into top of 5, when you've made, 6 or 7 plays? I mean, you're destined to get one of them that just doesn't go your way if the ball takes a weird bounce or if you're just not able to get the ball out of your glove fast enough. But Kirk's done really well at shortstop tonight, and he has as the season gone on. So even if the bat wasn't there, which it wasn't for the first half of the year, when you play a great shortstop, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The hitting is just gravy when you play a great defensive position like shortstop.
Yeah, even if he's in a very active part of the field, which means he's going to make a lot more plays, and sometimes he'll make some mistakes that might, as was alluded to by Spencer, kind of cloud the stat line a little bit, but doesn't mean it's a bad ball player. Not at all.
Almost like Kevin Kiermaier in his prime with the Rays. When you trail for that ball in left field, you may not be able to catch it. But because you ran to left field, it's your error. But it just shows the range and the mental, I guess, decision making of Kevin Kiermaier that, hey, all balls are mine if they're in the outfield.
First pitch of the inning is low for a ball. Chris Fitzpatrick at the plate, resuming that at-bat from last inning. Strike one called after the attempt to steal home did not work out. So because he did not finish his at-bat, he gets to start the fifth.
He gets to reset the bat too.
1-1, might have got a piece of that.
Well, he didn't run, so he must have. Normally, that's kind of the telltale sign on I think that was a second strike call. Because if you make contact, you don't even look towards first base. You just kind of get yourself reset for the next at bat. Next swing, I should say.
Nolan Thompson representing the top of the order on deck. 1-2 pitch, fouled up over our heads.
Thank goodness.
And lands in the middle of the street about 3 feet in front of a car. I kid you not.
Yeah, that
the car is fine. The driver probably may need a change of pants, but otherwise everyone is okay.
And there, and Slater missed that one.
Missed that one, and Fitzpatrick's going to be able to take first on the swinging at the ball that was in the dirt. So the leadoff man is aboard.
And that was a strikeout for Kramer, too. Technically speaking, but doesn't get the credit for it because the guy is now sitting on first base.
Back to the top of the order, the shortstop, Nolan Thompson at the plate. That one in for a strike. Thompson, 0-1. Kramer still in this game. Both starting pitchers are still in this game, and both likely to go to the distance. Kramer good for strike two.
And the Angel did not like that call at all. The leadoff hitter there kind of a couple strides out of the box. Just trying to refocus there for Thompson.
0-2 pitch. Chopper to third base over the head of the third baseman. That'll go into left field. Runners will advance.
Yeah, that was one of those weird choppers, JC, where it probably landed like 4 or 5 feet off the home plate, but when it hit the ground, it skied and it went about 20 feet in the air over Battelle, who had really no chance of that ball just from the way it came off the ground.
Third baseman Steve Barrett up to bat now. His third appearance at the plate.
No mention, there's still no outs in this inning either, JC, so triple play ball is in effect if somehow Battelle or maybe Kirk get a hold of this one.
That one outside for a ball. Barrett 0 for 2. Kramer comes set, runners at first and second, no outs here. Swung and missed.
And a good block there by Slater to not let any runners get around. I think as I've shown tonight, JC, the Angels have the green light basically at every bag at every moment if they feel like they have a chance here.
Good heads up base running has kept them in the game. 1-2 pitch, high. Correction, that's 2-1 now. 2-1 the count. Kramer staring in, checks the runner. 2-1 pitch, swung and missed, strike two. Kramer looking for the first out of the inning.
It could be a big one, JC, with guys on first and second.
Only one strikeout so far for Kramer. Can he get him? Got him! That one high up on the zone. Barrett swung at it and missed, and Kramer gets his second strikeout of the game.
And that's where Slater wanted it. I saw him kind of get up on his legs, and he wanted it high, and he got it there, and they get the swinging strikeout, which now means that they get their first out of the inning, and now a play any bag will get them their second and maybe third out there with to play to the next one.
Adam Foote, the right fielder, up now. Goes after the first pitch, going to bounce right at second. It dies there. Can they make the play? No, it's going to get past first. 1 run will score. Signal is on. I know they hold the runner at third, so just 1 to come in. And that was a tough ball to field.
And again, that's where Kirk, you'd say, as a great fielder and a cannon of an arm, has to eat it. You just kind of think, you know, instead of letting everybody advance, you just leave the bases loaded. You don't give up that free run now, and almost the second one, because the guy rounding third had full intention of going home, but he got the red light and stopped. Unlike in Toronto or in Barrie, he stopped.
Dom Murray at the plate. Scored a run his last at bat. That one high for a ball. Baysox clinging to the 1-run lead as Morea goes after that one. Hit to center fielder. Under it is the fielder. Now they'll throw it in. The tag up at third is going to be good to tie the game.
So for the first time, JC, since the game was 0-0, we are tied.
Still some work to do here as Jeff Bond comes to the plate. A double in his first appearance in the second. Scored runs in the second and the fourth. That one low for a ball.
We'll mention in the 2 games the Owen Sound Baysox played against this Barrie team, they did win both. 7-3 here in Owen Sound, and then 9-6 here in Owen Sound.
That one in for a strike. 1-1 to Bond.
And actually, pardon me, I think there's it says Tom's William Field for both, but I believe, oh no, it was doubleheader. They just changed sides on the score sheet. But yeah, both games were here in Owen Sound, both games won by Owen Sound. And this game is looking a little more like the 9-6 game than it is the 7-3 game.
Kramer on the mound. 2-1 pitch. Coming. That one low. Make it 3-1. For the first time, Kramer really in a bit of a jam here. He's given up the tying run. Go-ahead run. In scoring position at second. There's the pitch outside. Ball 4.
And Slater, I think, wanted that one. And I think he's asking, was it high? And I think the umpire nodded. And you got to wonder, JC, do the Baysox start warming up another pitcher? And is it Trevor Smith, or is it Blackwell, or do they pull Bartley from center field?
So far, no action, at least not on the Baysox side of the field. Oakridge fouls that first one back.
That one came hot off one of the metal stanchions and came right back into play.
The catcher, Preston Brubaker, in the on-deck circle. Center fielder Chris Mokry is at the plate. Kramer has the sign, looks back at the runner, delivers outside. Ball 1 to Mokry.
And the Barrie bench getting a little more involved here vocally as they're trying to get their hitter to score their leading run for the first time since the top of the first.
Kramer in. That's a ball. 2-1 count for Mokry. Kramer delivers. That one high on the inside.
He almost swung at it too, JC. Kind of almost swung at it, and then he had to jump out of the way of it.
3-1 count to Mokry. Runners at first and second.
Yeah, I think if he walks this one, JC, there's going to be a mount visit.
And he's going to walk that one. You could see as soon as it left his hand, it was coming in low.
And now Slater, Kramer, and the rest of the infield will converge and have their conversation, as I'll say I predicted, but I'm not going to give myself too much credit. I think it was pretty obvious, with the last two batters being walked, both in 3-1 counts. They got to get Kramer back dialed in here, and now Trevor Smith will go to the bullpen, quote unquote, to get warmed up here, because the Baysox are preparing for, at this point, maybe a tie. We mentioned that there are ties in the playoffs, so there could be one in effect here tonight with the 5-5 scoreline in the top of the fifth.
Massive at bat here with the bases loaded.
And 2 out.
The catcher, Preston Brubaker at the plate. Had a stolen base, reached his second at bat last inning, and in for a strike on the first pitch.
You got to wonder, JC, if Kramer gets through this inning, does he come up for the sixth? Do you put in Trevor Smith, or does Blackwell, the closer, make his appearance?
I would say that the indication probably is this will be it, as that one is in for a ball. But it really, I think, would depend as well as if the Owen Sound Baysox bats can restore a lead in the bottom of the inning.
And that's a great pitch from Kramer. Great pitch from Kramer. It looked like it started a little high, some sort of breaking ball, maybe curve ball.
1-2 now to Brubaker. Kramer would love to get his third strikeout of the game here. Can he get it? No, that one just outside. Kramer on the mound, bases loaded. 2 outs. 2-2 pitch for Brubaker. High and outside, ball 3.
And Slater wanted that one again. Don't get it. So now a chance to walk the third straight batter and give the Angels their first lead since the first inning.
You do not want to rock a run in a playoff game. Hit up the middle there. Should be over to first in time. It is, and the Baysox give up a few. They will head to the home half of the fifth tied, but at least they're not behind.
And you saw there Kramer, I'm not sure, he said something to Van Cedar. Van Cedar said something to him. I saw Van Cedar speak to Kramer. I'm not sure who initiated it, but I'd go as far as to say, without seeing Kramer's lips move, I assume Kramer looked at his second baseman and said thank you, because that just arguably saved him from a lot of damage.
3 left on base. That extends the left on base to 6 now for the Angels this game.
That's a lot of ducks.
We head to the home half of the fifth inning. Van Cedar, Battelle, and Post are due up. Keep an eye on the pitching situation here for the Baysox. If the Baysox can do well this inning, they've only been held off the score sheet 2 innings. Sorry, they've scored every inning they've been at bat at this point.
Which you'd say, and they haven't switched pitchers, have the Angels, is still Dempsey. You'd say is still an advantage in favor of the Baysox, but you know they got to continue that again in this bottom of 5, because again these games are to 7 and there are ties. So there is no okay, we'll just get them in extras. There is no extras. So you got to find a way to continue to get success, and now you have to ask the question, JC, for the Barrie Angels, just as we asked literally 3 minutes ago about Owen Sound. Where is the leash for Kramer? Where's the leash for Dempsey? And who would be the guy to come in this high leverage situation in a tie game, in game 1 of the playoffs, in the bottom of the 5th inning of a 7-inning game?
I think the answering that question is a little bit more difficult in the case of Dempsey. I mean, he's kind of been, I don't want to say consistently inconsistent, but I mean, he hasn't really gotten into massive jams, or he's pitched well at times, gotten into a little bit of issues at other times, but nothing that you could say, okay, this guy's, he's lost his stuff, he's lost the zone. Kramer's a different story. He just had himself a bad inning.
And his first real bad one of the night, even with some of the inconsistencies we saw from Nate Kramer tonight and all the contact we saw early in the game by the Angels.
Van Cedar steps up to the plate as we begin the bottom half of the fifth. First pitch is in for a ball. Paul Van Cedar, a couple of kids on the junior Baysox team, made it to the semifinals in the U11 Provincials last weekend. That went in for a strike, 1-1 to Van Cedar. That was a great thing about the calling the U11s with you last weekend, Spencer, is seeing the family aspect of baseball in Owen Sound and how big it is. And well, you got to see how those families work together when we started the day with a lot of rain, and dads and moms from both teams came together to make sure that the field got dried out and the game could be played. That one in for a strike.
Yeah, they brought out the shovels, they brought out the leaf blowers to try to, dry the field as best they could. They brought in I'll say the mulch, but brought in like the sawdust to try to, mix that with the sand that wasn't as damp.
That pitch outside. Ball 2.
No, actually runs the count full.
Runs the count full, I should say. Van Cedar, the leadoff man this inning, trying to reach here, hopefully to restore a Baysox lead. Goes after that one right to the third baseman. Throw over to first is in time. Van Cedar is retired.
Almost fumbled there by the third baseman, but you kind of heard that. Van Cedar, not exactly the fastest guy in orange, and wasn't able to capitalize on the fumble there by the third baseman, because you'd think if that's, the guy before him or after him in Gibson or Battelle, you'd probably think that's maybe a hit.
The third baseman, Battelle, 2 for 2 at the plate. Pops that one up to the first baseman, who calls for it. Got it. And it's 2 up, 2 down so far for the Baysox.
And this has been, so far, you'd say the easiest inning so far for the Angels, at least on the defensive side. 1 pop fly and 1 grounder. And now Brian Post will have a chance. And again, they could really use Brian Post, put one over that short porch just like Kirk Gibson did a couple innings ago.
First pitch to Post. Swings and goes to left field, right to the fielder. And it's a 3 up, 3 down quick inning here for the Barrie Angels.
And that's what they needed, JC. Again, they had allowed a run in every single inning till this moment. So now going into the top of the 6th, Nate Kramer will come back onto the mound. We'll see if Trevor Smith also comes back out of the pen to continue to get warm. But we'll just have to see. And again, JC, you'd have to think, how long is the leash for Nate Kramer in a tie ball game here in the top of the 6th?
Well, we talked a lot earlier in the broadcast about how it was the defensive play of the Baysox that really made the big difference this season. One of only 2 teams in the league to allow less than 100 runs. And it's times like this where the defense makes a big difference. We're getting a little bit late. At this point, we've gone through the order almost 3 full times for the Barrie Angels, so everyone's had a pretty good look at Nate Kramer. And
they were making solid contact on the first run through, JC, which again is why you kind of worry, because I know in the majors, the big statistic why guys get pulled so early now is because the statistics are exponential when the third run through. First and second, there's a very little blip of increased batting average, on base percentage, slugging. The third run through is like .400. It's a massive advantage for the batting team. So that's why guys usually get yanked a lot earlier, is because the teams understand that on the third time through, they normally get crushed. So let's not let that happen.
And on that third time through, too, that was almost a bat-around inning for the Barrie Angels. This would have been the only man that didn't make it to the plate last inning, and that is the second baseman, Brandon Tippin, who will lead things off here. And he goes after the first pitch for a strike. Kramer on the mound, hoping to come back after not a great inning. That pitch good for a strike. Good start, 0-2 to Tippin.
You know, sometimes you get decisions like this, JC, and they make the manager look like a genius, and Don Bartley right now looks like a genius with Kramer looking good so far.
That one in for a strike. He got him swinging. There is the third strike out of the game for Kramer, and as bad as that last inning was, this one is starting beautifully.
I mean, you got to love when a good plan comes together, JC, and, you know, when you give the guy that confidence to go back out after a rough inning and they start to dominate.
Bottom of the order right now as that first pitch goes in the dirt for ball 1 to Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick started it off last inning. 1-0 pitch, high for ball 2.
And again, I think Slater and Kramer both wanted that pitch again. The high ones have, I think, been the trouble pitch here for both teams.
Kramer quickly working on ball 3 there.
Yeah, I'd say very quickly. I don't think Slater was ready for that one necessarily. I don't think he came exactly set, did the catcher.
3-0 count after the strikeout. That one in for a strike. Take it to 3-1.
Yeah, but as the batter, I think in a 3-0 count, unless you're up by a dozen, you probably let that one go regardless of where it is.
That one high for ball 4. Fitzpatrick will take first.
And that is almost the exact opposite last at bat here. Strike out the first one. Strike out the first batter and then walk the second one on almost 4 pitches.
Second walk of the game issued by Kramer. Back to the top of the order for Thompson for a ball. 1-0 pitch. Hit right to Gibson. It's short. Gibson will flip to second. Throw over to first. Got him.
And a great dig there by Brian Post to end the inning. I wasn't sure if Van Cedar was going to be able to get the throw off because the slide came in right as he released it, and you saw him go low because of the slide. But even with that, Brian Post does a great job to nab that one hopper and end the inning with no damage done. And both these two teams, JC, in the last full inning between the Baysox last at bat, you see there the slide, Van Cedar basically went right over him, and a great nab there by Post to get themselves out of it. The last full inning, the last time the Baysox went to bat and that previous at bat there for the Angels, both teams allowed goose eggs. So this game is tightening up as both teams feel, I'd say, the pressure of game 1 of the NDBL playoffs for them.
Definitely has to tighten up, and I mean, you're going to make mistakes early in a game, but once these teams figure each other out, once they get a chance to see each other for a few days in a row here, they're really going to have their mistakes limited. It's still going to be Dempsey on the mound as we head to the home half of the 6th. We will start with the left fielder, Ryan Bartley, at the plate. Greg Slater, the catcher, and Kevin Zettler, the DH, in the number 9 hole.
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, JC, but does Bartley have a hit tonight? I don't think so.
I believe he does. He got a hit in his second at-bat, which came during the 3rd inning.
Because he pop-flied in the first, and what did he do with his 3rd at-bat? Maybe I'm conflating. Or is this his 3rd at-bat?
This will be his 3rd at-bat.
Okay, because I know they started at least 2 innings ago at the top of the 3rd order, and they have struggled since that 3rd run-through, which again is the opposite of what normally happens when you get to that 3rd run of the order. But I know Bartley has struggled the latter half of the season, unlike Kirk Gibson, and he was looking to get himself back into the hit column, got that first hit, as you mentioned, in the 3rd inning, and hopefully he can continue that in this at-bat. Last time I said that he flew out on the first pitch to out of in foul territory, so we'll see if I can do it again somehow.
Bartley at the plate. Dempsey ready. Delivers. Outside ball 1. 1-0 pitch. Outside again, 2-0 as Ryan Bartley liking the start to this at-bat.
Bartley had 9 walks, one of 3 guys to have 9 walks, with Doyle and Gibson.
That one in for a strike. Bartley got low, looking at it. 2-1 count. Pitch by Dempsey is in the dirt. Ball 3. Runs it to 3-1. Leadoff man looking to get on here. 3-1 pitch. Outside, Bartley is aboard.
And that was almost a great frame job there by the Angels catcher, because they teach young catchers now you want to be as close to the plate as you can get without touching the batter, obviously, to get the interference call. And that's where injuries for catchers have come into play. Wilson Contreras has got injured twice now with the Cardinals because of being too close to the batter and getting hit on the backswing. But the reason why he's doing that is because the closer you are to the plate, JC, the easier it is to fool the umpire. The more you can move the ball. As Slater and head coach Don Bartley here converged to have a little conversation before this at bat.
I wonder what they're talking about here, if they're just talking, are they talking bunt? Slater reached in the second inning, his first at bat. Is out in the third.
I'd be confused if it was a bunt for Slater, because I'm not sure you can beat out the throw. I know Bartley will cruise to second base, but I'm just not sure if Slater's got the juice to get to first, if the bunt's perfectly placed.
See how obvious the strategy here is as Dempsey sets for the first pitch. This at bat. He shows bunt, but bunts it back foul.
Ooh, they called him out, I think.
Yeah, Slater is looking back. And
I don't know what that call is. And he's unimpressed with the call, again, as the catcher. And that's where, maybe my lack of ball knowledge comes into effect, because I'm not sure what he did illegally there. Like, that's a perfectly placed bunt. It's not 2 strikes, obviously, because it was his first swing of the bat, technically speaking.
Greg Cowan of the Owen Sound Sun-Times is sitting next to you. Greg Cowan, do you know what happened there? Oh, he stepped on the plate. Okay. That's Eagle Eye Cowan was able to pick that one out. Kevin Zettler, the DH now, the number 9 hitter at the plate. Ryan Bartley aboard at first. Walk to start the inning. A pitch for ball 1.
Yeah, I'm telling you, both these two teams have been trying to dominate top of the strike zone, and the umpires had none of it. She has not liked any of those top pitches. But she has liked the bottom stuff, so I'm surprised neither team's really tried to capitalize on her like of the bottom end of the strike zone.
That pitch in for ball 2.
That was a little too low. Right spot, though, you'd say, from what the umpire's shown as a bias from high or low.
The elder Bartley giving some signals to the younger Bartley over at first. 2-0 for Zettler. Bartley goes on the steal, but he'll have to come back as that one is fouled out.
Yeah, that was definitely a hit-and-run situation between Zettler and Ryan Bartley. Zettler obviously just couldn't put it in play, as he'll now get another signal from Don Bartley, as now the Angels, will converge at the mount. I guess obviously they're telling that Owen Sound's trying to do something sneaky here, if that's a hit and run, or they're trying to get Bartley to second base without losing Zettler at home. So obviously the Angels are trying to come up with a countermeasure to figure out how they're going to do this.
Obviously, probably talking about trying to induce some sort of a ground ball for a double play here, which would get them out of the inning. Looks like they've got their strategy figured out. Brubaker returns behind the plate. Some more signals coming from Coach Bartley. Zettler steps back in. That one hit up the first base line. Second baseman makes the play, bobbles it. There will be no throw. Safe all around for the Baysox.
Again, Zettler showing off that speed in the 9 hole, and not only that, again, the second baseman not only couldn't glove it, but he also kind of overran it, so he had to kind of trail himself back to try to even attempt to pick up the ball, and by that point, Zettler had already touched first base. So there was not even a thought of throwing that ball, as now the top of the order will come back around for now the 4th time with Doyle.
Just one down here. Doyle is 2 for 3 so far tonight, including a double his last at back in the 4th, scored a run. Hit well up to first base. That one's a fair ball, and everyone will be safe again.
And nobody covered first. Not sure they would have had Doyle regardless, and Doyle kind of eased up on the last 10 feet, seeing nobody was at first base, so even if the first baseman got a hold of it, it wouldn't matter. But I am surprised that nobody came over to first base fast to try to get Doyle to actually hustle. But with that being said now, JC, 1 out, bases juiced for the guy who is hitless tonight, and I want to say is the only hitless Baysox in Ryan McNeil, who again was 2nd on the team in average and the highest on base percentage.
I believe Post might also be hitless tonight.
You may be right with that, actually. So 1 of 2 hitters.
2 strikeouts for McNeil and a line drive to the 3rd baseman in his last at-bat. Here's the pitch. Goes after that one, right back to the pitcher. Makes the play, and they got to be quick at first. All runners will be safe on the bags, but just a bad luck night for Ryan McNeil.
That might be the culmination. That's an absolute rocket right back at the pitcher. But again, it went right to him. And that's great.
Jeez.
Quick reaction there by the pitcher to get that glove in front of his face. That was going right for his nose. But that's now 2 outs, bases loaded for the guy who you could argue has had maybe the best night at the plate for the Baysox in Kirk Gibson, even though he's been caught trying to get the 3rd baseman was out, tried to get 2nd base and got caught, has the homer tonight, the only one of the game so far, and wouldn't he love to get the 2nd one?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it, but you know what one big swing of the bat's going to do here. First pitch to Gibson. Watches a ball go past.
And I love Kirk Gibson because when he sees a ball coming, gives a little head shake, like, nope, not close. And I kind of like that little denomination he gives himself, where he just shakes his head like, nah, I'm good.
Chance to retake the lead. 1-0 pitch. Ball 2.
And there it is again, that little head shake.
Gibson might be in the zone here at just the right time.
The Owens Community College current ball player.
Dempsey the pitch, 2-0. Hit by Gibson to center. Will it have the distance? Not likely. Center fielder is under it, and that will end the inning. The bases left loaded by the Baysox. They will stay tied as we go to the 7th inning.
And again, this is the final inning for sure. This could end in a tie, as we are in line for a tie right now at 5 apiece. And Gibson knew the moment JC hit that ball that was going to be a most likely out, because I saw him kind of do the couple twirls out of the box and throw the bat in dismay. So obviously Kirk kind of knew the moment he made contact he didn't barrel it, because you'd say where the ball landed, that ball being maybe a 1/4 inch farther down, that ball's out. And that's almost dead center field if he is able to make the perfect contact on that one, which he just wasn't able to. As Kramer will come out for the 7th inning. And again, JC, that will make you wonder, even though Kramer had a pretty good 6th, does Trevor Smith go into the bullpen? Does Blackwell go into the bullpen? Or what do the Baysox do if Kramer gets himself in another jam like he did in the 5th?
Well, I think that the advantage at least is that they are at home, so they know their bats have been good tonight. So if you get into like a run, 2-run deficit situation, I think you probably stay with them. You want to keep Smith as fresh as you possibly can, and you'll leave it up to your bats to be the difference here.
And you got to wonder also, JC, with tomorrow being game 2 down in Barrie, and then having the day off Saturday to play the game Sunday, who is the game 3 starter in Owen Sound? Is it going to be Ryan Bartley? You're going to give either, you'd say, Kramer the start in the 4th game if they play the doubleheader, or do you play Kramer in game 3 to then think you maybe play Bartley in 4? Like, that's kind of an interesting question you'd think for Owen Sound as this series goes on, with tonight obviously not wanting to use either Bartley or Smith in tonight's game.
And it's not a lot of downtime in between, and you just don't know, I mean, the effects that throwing a 7-inning game has on a pitcher. How much downtime do you need? Is it 2 days? Is it 3 days? Is it a full week in between? Are you going to have the arm on ice as that one is in for a strike? for the entire time on? Like, are you going to take time off from work to make sure that nothing happens? Who knows what they have to do at this level? That pitch good for a strike. Strike 2.
Great pitch there by Kramer.
Barrett, the third baseman, up.
Oh, ready, don't win.
Baysox want a quick inning by Kramer. That one popped up. Left fielder in motion. Shouldn't be an issue here.
That's right at the foul line too, JC. That was basically right at the yellow pole. And it was a good catch there by Doyle. But again, JC, that's what, 2 feet from the fence, maybe a foot from the fence. Then you add the couple feet up the fence. That ball's almost out. So that's again where Kramer's got that sigh of relief and get another chance to the next batter with no damage done in a high leverage situation.
Third in the order, the right fielder, Adam Foote, at the plate. Goes after the first pitch. Gibson got it! A bit of an ice cream cone catch, but he got it.
I don't know if the guys at this level, JC, go to Dairy Queen after the game. Might be closed by the time this game's over, but I have to think about it with the way Kirk Gibson's played. He deserves some kind of treat here tonight because he's been great defensively. Even with the one error, he's been a focal point defensively, and again, he's been up to task basically every time.
Oh, he's earned himself a dilly bar and a blizzard probably, for sure.
The convenience stores are open, so they can go downtown to the Shell and get some sort of pre-made ice cream.
Dom Murray hits that one right back to Kramer. Kramer flipped to first, and it's a 3-up, 3-down inning. And now a chance to walk it off in the first playoff game in Owen Sound in 20 years. Stay tuned, folks. We got a big bottom half coming up.
JC, you know what's really interesting with the way Owen Sound's played, and I'll say specifically Nate Kramer? He's played his best 2 innings in the last 2. Like, think about the pressure you're under. 5-5 last 2 innings of your first playoff game in Baysox, I'll say history, but in recent history for the Baysox. And all of a sudden, you're in a tie ball game. In the last inning, you got, I'll say, shelled. You had bases juiced. You allowed the tying run. And now, all of a sudden, you're right there. And they just told us that the pitcher has been changed to Thompson.
Nolan Thompson.
And Nolan Thompson's played 3 games, has pitched 8 innings, has 9 Ks, 12 hits allowed, and 9 runs in those 3 games, in those 8 innings. So a little over a run per inning allowed on average, and he has 1 loss to his name in those 3 appearances so far this year as he comes in relief for Dempsey, as that rocket almost got put out of play. But as I was mentioning, JC, as we'll get some more practice pitches, obviously, with the new pitcher being involved in this last inning. You know, Nate Kramer playing his best baseball at the end of a playoff game in a high-leverage situation is not only what you want to see, but is amazing to see because, again, you know, you'd expect that would be his worst innings, and it was the complete opposite. And, you know, if the Baysox are able to pull this one out now, you'd almost say it's because of Nate Kramer and the play he's shown in the 7th full.
Bounce back beautifully for the Baysox. Did everything they could have asked after that bad inning.
That rough 5th inning.
Kramer, the shortstop, was 2 for 4, 3 for 4 at the plate tonight. Had a good night, including a double otherwise. But now he'll see if he can keep the tie, which would be massive to start game 1 with a tie for the Barrie Angels. Heading back to Barrie tomorrow night. And now a final little chat between Thompson and Brubaker. It sounds like a light rain.
That's kind of what I was hearing,
starting
JC.
to fall here, so potentially we are going to be finishing this game in good time here tonight.
Yeah, as again, Greg Calrate beside us is in the little bit of sprinkle as he looked up at it.
He's in the splash zone over there.
Yeah, that he is, and I want to mention that 55 has come into the game at shortstop, I believe, which is Hayden Irwin, so a defensive substitution as well as a pitching one.
And Cedar goes after that one high for a strike.
And there's a reason why we bring the tents, folks, to make sure all the expensive equipment that Mark Perry brings to every Baysox game is protected, because, again, it is expensive equipment.
They did tell us if you break it, you buy it. Pitch in by Thompson, good for strike 2.
And you'd have to remortgage the house already, JC, if you broke anything here, because again, all this equipment is well worth more than I can afford.
Help me, I'm poor.
Yeah. I'll bring out the tin can.
Thompson, 0-2 pitch. Got him. Swinging strike 3. Van Cedar goes down.
And then again, that's the guy that leads the team in average throughout the season. And now it's Patel with a chance. He almost walked it off in our first game of the year that we did on Rogers TV, me and Gord Chapman. He hit a ball dead center field. It landed, I swear, about a foot from, or hit like halfway up the fence in dead center field. And it tied the game, but he was the winning run, and they end up tying that game.
First pitch to Patel. Good for a strike. Thompson's not messing around here. He's thrown 4 straight strikes.
And again, he didn't look great in the warm-up pitches, so I guess you're trying to get all the wildness out during the warm-ups to now be able to bring it into the game.
1 pitch. That's a ball. 1-1.
And the Angels wanted it to be the 5th straight strike call.
Yeah, we could hear the sounds of disgust on that last pitch.
Couple of groans from our right.
1-1 pitch from Thompson.
Hurt yourself,
Patel sees that for ball 2.
Want to mention, JC, that, you know, obviously we don't have a radar gun, so I can't tell you how hard these balls are being thrown, but Thompson has gas. Like, these pitches look and feel fast.
That pitch in the dirt. That'll be ball 3.
That's probably where the control issue comes in for Thompson, is because he throws so hard. You know, he has a lot more margin for error when it comes to the control, unlike a guy who throws a little less heat.
Patel right now representing the winning run, trotting down to first base.
And you mentioned it, JC, 2 guys do not have a hit yet in tonight's game. Ryan McNeil is now 0 for 4, 2 line outs and 2 strikeouts. Brian Post is the other guy, and is the guy who led the league in home runs with 7. Led the team, obviously, in home runs with 7. You're going to wonder what Brian Post is going to do here. And again, last time Don Bartley called a meeting like this, it was for a bunt by catcher Slater, who ended up being out because he stepped on home plate as he bunted, which is illegal. I wonder if he told the same thing to Post. It's just try to bunt and get Patel over to second base for a bloop single to win the game.
0 for 3 at the plate. I mean, I can't imagine he just went and said swing away. But now, you never know. Now there's going to be a quick meeting at the mound.
Yeah, now there's going to be an inverse here, as Post will have a chance to think over what Coach Bartley told him, as he'll stay basically just outside the box, as now Thompson and his catcher will have their little meeting on whatever the Baysox had a meeting about, you'd assume.
Thompson in the game. First pitching inning for him.
We'll also mention that Brian Post has led the league, the NDBL, in home runs a lot of times, at least 3 or 4. He led last year as well, tied for the lead with 7.
First pitch is a strike to Post, who doesn't show bunt. So that wasn't the strategy.
And he takes another look down at Bartley, who gives him the signal, so.
Thompson does throw hard.
He throws gas.
I'm not sure if that matches up well against Post power hitting, but we're about to find out with the 0-1 pitch coming. That one, big cut by Post there. He was thinking yard.
To be honest, I think Brian Post, every time he swings that bat, is thinking yard, to
Probably.
be honest. And when you got the kind of power he does, I think the same way. For me, it was the complete opposite. I was always thinking walk.
Post in the hole, 0-2 now, 1 down. Winning run is at first. In the dirt, and that will advance the runner to second. And now it's just a base hit to win the game for the Baysox.
And that's, you'd say, almost any base hit that gets past, just outside the green grass here at Ted Williams Field? Or, pardon me, Tom Williams Field?
Post, 1-2. Chance to walk it off. Thompson on the mound, checks the runner. The pitch, fouled back by Post.
And there's a police vehicle here as well, as that ball goes into the swing set at Capel Sarawak.
Everybody's coming out to watch the Baysox in the playoffs.
Gotta wonder if the Baysox will pull this one out, JC. If you'll see the lights come on and the sirens start going off here at like 10:30 at night here in Owen Sound.
1-2 pitch. Swung and missed. Strike 3. Post goes down.
And that's a great breaking ball there by the Angel pitcher Thompson. That's a great pitch. Now there's 2 outs as the Angel will have another meeting here at home plate or at the pitcher's mound. As Ryan Bartley, who as I heard pre-game talking to, well, I guess technically hearing Greg Cowan and Keith Fawcett, who comes to every Baysox home game. Ryan Bartley's a switch hitter, so he will be hitting on the opposite side. He'll be hitting lefty against Thompson, unlike his previous at-bats where he hit righty. So we'll see what Bartley can do as a lefty here in this at-bat. And what an at-bat to come out as the first time in the game lefty. With 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th with the winning run at second base.
Chance to walk it off for Ryan Bartley. Otherwise, a tie to start the series. First pitch, strike 1. Nolan Thompson has struck out 2 of the 3 batters he's faced this inning. Patel at second, the winning run. A 1 pitch. Pops up down the third base line. That'll be out of play.
Well, at a play too, and you mentioned it. Of the 3 batters Thompson's faced, 1 walk, 2 Ks, so no balls in play, unlike what we've seen from basically the entire game other than that. So Thompson's been a pleasant surprise for the Angels here.
Bartley down to his last strike. Will it be a tie to start the series? Nolan Thompson would love that. Hit hard by Bartley. It's headed back to right field. Man in motion. Fielder under it. He missed it! He missed it! The Baysox are going to win game 1 as they cross the plate. Ryan Bartley with the RBI to win it. Can you believe it? The Gatorade shower. Oh, and hopefully not an injury.
I think somebody got caught in the cup there.
Be very careful
and
with the celebrations, boys.
And it's the catcher, Slater, who's the one who went down. But, JC, you saw it there on that hit. As you see Patel cross home plate. Bartley didn't even touch second base because he didn't need to. But Bartley crushes it to right field, and it ball could have been out not too far from the fence. But what happens is the fielder kind of lost it 2 or 3 times as he twisted and turned and tried to get a handle on the ball, and his glove just couldn't reach out and nab it. And the moment that ball touches the green grass, JC, the game is over.
That is fantastic. What a way to end the game. What a way to see the first playoff game in 20 years in Owen Sound and in dramatic walk-off fashion.
I mean, it just gets you ready for Game 3, doesn't it, JC? Sunday, the 11th, back here at Tom Williams Field at 1 o'clock. I mean, if that doesn't get you ready for it, I don't know what will.
Very quickly, a big thank you to all of our volunteers here at Rogers Television for coming out tonight to put this game on. All of them will be back on Sunday. We'll have both games, if necessary, as the Owen Sound Baysox try to win this first-round series against the Barrie Angels. On behalf of Spencer Byers, our producer Mark Perry, my name is J.C. Coots. Thank you for watching. Good night from Owen Sound.
tournament that the girls could play that was reflective of the fall season, and all these apples and harvest season came to mind, so that's representative of that area. This is the Candy King Classic, and it's actually a real story from my own family. We have been playing hockey on Boxing Day for 38 years, and I turned that into a children's story. And the last book that just came out March 1st is called The Superstitious Goalie, because I felt like there's goalies within the hockey community that need a bit more representation and a bit more love. So I couldn't have a hockey book series without having some goalies highlighted in that. So that has been my recent change from athlete to author, and my new beginning over the course of a few years, but really the last 6 months.